Proverbs chapter 14, verse 12. There is a path before each person that seems right, but its end is death. Man, that is the plight of our world. There's always a way that seems right. Our flesh, our humanness, especially if we don't know the Lord, man, we always think we got a plan. We always got something that sounds good. The classic example is the garden. There's nothing new under the sun, guys. You go back to Adam and Eve. God said, here's my wisdom on life. Trust me. Stay away from that fruit. Life will be awesome. Just trust me on that. But Adam and Eve listened to the other guy, the serpent, right? And it gets in her head and she says to herself, now get this, it seems right. It says, the fruit seemed like it was good for food and useful for gaining knowledge. Has anybody else walked down rationalization path with Eve? And so she took some. And she said, I think I'll do it my way because it seems like the right thing to do. And then crunch. And then look around. It said instantly their eyes were open and they felt ashamed. That's a whole lot more than realizing they were naked. They saw how undone they were, and the toothpaste could never be put back in the tube. And it was like, oh, the classic line. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but boy, it wasn't. And I could write books on decisions I've made in my life that seemed like a good idea at the time, but boy, did they go somewhere else. My office has been filled with people who've sat with me and said, Pastor, my life's just messed up, and we begin to talk, and I'm not a very good, I shouldn't say this, but I'm not a very good counselor. Because I just want to point people to God's truth and say, okay, come on. Right? And a good counselor just kind of listens, and I need to grow in that. So pray for me on that. But anyway, because I've had so many folks who've come in and said, man, my life's like this whole thing's messed up. This relationship's all messed up. And we'll sit and we'll talk, and I'll say, okay, Lord, in my heart, help me to just be just gracious and loving, and just point them to truth and say, here's what God says about that part of your relationship. And if you'll just kind of do this and this, just going to write down 2 things for you on a card. Just do these 2 things this week. Man, things will start to get better. And folks, not in so many words, but I've had folks actually say, nah, I know what God says. And maybe they don't even say it, but they just kind of walk out and they've just decided in their heart, I'd rather do it my way because it seems right. But in the end, where does it lead? To death. Right back in the office the next week. I don't mean to make it simplistic, but to a degree, choices are choices, and choices go somewhere, and it really kind of is that simple on a lot of levels.